Hey guys, a very warm welcome back to my channel. I know I've been gone for a minute, but I am back. I'm trying this out all over again. My name is Karabo for those of you who don't know me, but if you do, a warm welcome. And to the few subscribers, to the few new subscribers that subscribed, even though I was gone for about 5 years, child. Thank you for clicking on that subscribe button. If you're watching and you have not subscribed as yet, baby, do the right thing, because I'm gonna try and shoot some content as much as I can. But yeah, in today's video we have, I guess you could call it a conversation on mental health, I guess. I don't know, slash life update, but it's not really a life update because there's no update really. What else? Yeah, essentially it's just like a conversation on getting by, or like a reflection. Yeah, I think I mentioned in my previous, in the video you'll see I mentioned that it's just like a reflection on where I've been and where I am now, and I wanted to kind of share this with you guys, so when I come back on YouTube you guys are able to like kind of get an idea of how things were for me, and why I couldn't even be on YouTube at the time, and where I am now mentally, and how I'm just trying to navigate around that and my life. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up, and yeah, click on the notification bell so that you get a notification every time I post. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video, which is going to be next week. I will maybe drop a date on when I'll be dropping videos, but I'll see you guys next week on another conversation with me. See you guys. Bye.
It's amazing, purely amazing. Ooh,
Essentially today's video, I wanted it to be a life update, or not a life update because that just sounds terrible. Like, I'm not trying to update you guys about my life. I'm really not trying to do that, but like, I guess reflect, right? Yeah, maybe like life, not life reflection, maybe reflecting on the year, yeah, I wanted to just reflect on the year because the year is almost over, and it's been a tough three years. I have, tried getting back to YouTube. It just has not been working out, and yeah, so I'm I guess I'm trying it out again. Anyway, I wanted to just have like a reflection of the year, and what essentially what I've survived. I'm gonna say survived, child, because last year I didn't think I'd be here. I was down horrendous last year, okay? Like, it was so bad. Oh guys, I went through I went through heartbreak again last year. But in hindsight now, when I think about it, honestly, I think I was just grieving, and my grief was kind of tangled up in the heartbreak. I tweeted the other day and I said, I don't necessarily, like, I hated that guy. Well, didn't hate him, but like, I felt very disappointed. I don't know, like, ugh. I felt like it was his fault that I found myself like in a ongoing depressive episode that I could not get myself out of. and I felt like it was because of that guy specifically. But now, a year later, I'm realizing I was just caught up, like really wrapped up in my grief. And maybe we could talk about that like in one of my segments, because I do want to kind of open up my YouTube channel to having conversations on grief, on motherhood, on mental health, just like conversations that could help other people and also help me, because I've learned that let me talk and work, child, because one thing about my phone, it's going to shut us off very soon. Anyway, I'm gonna start with my eyebrows. Yeah, I want to actually, let me do my eyebrows and come back to you guys, because yeah. And I am back. I'm not very happy with my eyebrows. I just had a revelation while I was doing my eyebrows, because I was in such a hurry, because I knew I had to come back and like finish the video. So I was kind of like rushing through them, and halfway through doing them, I was like, why are you in such a hurry? Like, why are you in such a hurry? Because even if I'm filming, I have the whole day to do this. And now my eyebrows didn't necessarily come out how I would have expected them to, because I was rushing them. Moral of the story: stop rushing. There's literally no rush. I lost my train of thought really with what I was saying in the previous video, like before I went to do my eyebrows. But I know I was talking about grief and relationships, and how I felt like I was going through heartbreak last year, when in actual fact, in hindsight, when I think about it now, I was just grieving. And yeah, the heartbreak kind of like was elevated because of that. Because honestly, more than anything, I should be grateful for that guy, because I remember being in so much pain, right? And also just being like not understanding at the time why it hurt that much. Because if you know my history, then you know I've been through so much worse than just like a mere heartbreak. And me and this person weren't even dating for that long. So I was struggling to also accept that I'm going through so much pain over like such a random ass person, you know. So it was just like, man, this doesn't make sense. Like, why do I feel like my life is falling apart? Why is this so difficult to get over, you know? So in the midst of that happening, I went back to therapy. I end up going to see a psychiatrist, and you know, I remember, like, now when I think about it, it's so ridiculous, because I wasted my money talking about that guy and the heartbreak, because now I really feel like that was the right time for me to talk about like my grief and like work through it. But I spent sessions, and I think that doctor was like 1.7 or something like that, some crazy amount like that, for a single consultation. And I spent all those consultations talking about this guy, like, oh my gosh, he broke my heart. But more than the guy breaking my heart, the therapy was to help me process what was happening, because I didn't understand why it was so extreme, why I was taking it so hard. And then my therapist, then she then diagnosed, not therapist, psychiatrist, she then diagnosed she then diagnosed me with BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, right? From what I had been telling her, and also just a few things that I had shared that were happening like prior to that heartbreak, right? And Guys, BPD is really hectic because I'll so the main thing, or like the main thing that I understand um from suffering from a personality disorder or like BPD is that you are not able to regulate your emotions, right? So, and also another thing, BPD can also be paired with depression. But the really tricky part about pairing the two is you like you can go to a therapist and then they'll say you're depressed and then they'll treat your depression. BPD is not treatable. It's a personality disorder. It's essentially how you see life and how you react to the things around you. So there's no pill that is going to like change your mind about how you view the world, if you understand what I mean. But they'll treat you being depressed because maybe like you're sleeping too much, you don't have energy, you're suicidal. But now the tricky part also about being suicidal is you're only like most people that suffer from BPD get suicidal because of how hectic they see the world. Like everything is really bad in their eyes and everything is like falling apart, or like, you know, you are unable to regulate your emotions towards certain things. So you can break a cup and you'll cry like, oh my gosh, I broke it, it won't be fixed, like I can never fix it. And at the end of the day, it's just a cup, you can replace it. The world is not ending because you broke a cup. But with BPD, everything is like there's no black and white. You can't find a middle ground to anything. So when somebody hurts you, you cut them off like completely. Like you're not even trying to hear why you hurt me or like where their stance come from. I'll also touch on that because I realized that at like there are certain points in my life where I was the toxic person because of that, because I never gave people a chance, right? Even in relationships, I never gave people a chance to understand what was happening. If you hurt me, I completely cut you off. Like, and it could be like towards something really stupid. Now that I think about it, there's actually something that's happening in my life right now that I'm thinking about it now, like, okay, maybe I was a bit extreme in that instance. But anyway, yeah, so when you suffer from that, it's really hard for you to like yeah, to regulate your emotions essentially. And that's why I was like struggling so much with like that specific relationship, because I couldn't regulate my hurt, right? On top of not being able to navigate around my grief. So all of that kind of like threw me like right away, and damn, like I was struggling. I was really, really struggling. But you know, so I think it was at the point I realized that all along I've been wanting to, like, you know, be treated for depression or whatever, which like there's no denying I probably was depressed, but I needed to get I needed to learn skills to kind of navigate through the personality disorder. So I knew that there was no pill that was going to help me learn how to regulate my emotions. I knew that a lot of inner work was supposed to happen in order for me to get to a point where I'm able to function around society in a way that makes sense. If you know me 2-3 years ago, then you know like how extreme I was in everything that I was doing. Like that's also another thing with having BPD. Everything is to the extreme. Everything is to the extreme. If you're drinking, it's to the extreme. If you're sad, it's to the extreme. If you're happy, it's to the extreme. Like if you ever even saw the things that I was posting online, you would see like at my happiest, you would not even think I had problems. Like at my happiest, I was completely happy, and I could be happy right now and fall apart in the next 5 minutes. It was so extreme, and alcohol was also making it worse because alcohol is also an antidepressant. So me not being able to regulate my highs and my lows just set me off like a lot of the time. So anyway, I went to this doctor, and she kind of broke it down for me like properly. And she explained to me that also you hold people at like a high regard, like, and I remember at the time, like, my friends were everything to me. Like, my friends were like my whole world. Like, and yeah, my friends, my brother, I remember also at the time I had to like identify the people that I held at such a high regard. Like, those were the people that I felt like I could not live without, and when they would hurt me, I would want to like end my life because I feel like I can't live without these people. The relationship that I was in, I don't feel like I couldn't live without the relationship, but I felt like I was in too much pain to like navigate through that pain. But I got better with understanding it, and I stopped spending so much money. I stopped spending so much money going to the psychiatrist because, one, I knew the antidepressants were not going to help me, and also I was starting to kind of abuse those pills. And another thing with border personality with BPD is you have an extremely addictive personality. I'm losing my train of thought again. Yeah, so how I navigated around the diagnosis is I read up on the disorder a lot. Like, I taught myself how to get better, how to navigate around it, how to regulate my emotions, what to do when I'm triggered. I just basically learned, like, every day I would watch endless videos, endless articles about people suffering from BPD, how they got over it, how you can get over it. Not over it, but like how you can learn, like, when you are in a space when your nervous system is like triggered and you like spiraling out of control, how to get back to yourself. And I mean, it's an ongoing process. I don't think it's something that you wake up learning, because essentially you need to kind of reprogram the way you see the world. And when something happens that triggers you, you need to think before you react to it, so yeah, I'm using the Maybelline thingy concealer. Right, so anyway, I got better in that sense. I started like seeing things differently, but I at the time now felt like I had messed up my life so much. It felt like there was no way I could like kind of recover from the things that I was doing when I was spiraling, right? So yeah, so it now I went through a lot of guilt. Like, I don't know how to explain what that feeling was, but and also I was going through a lot of like fearful emotions. I remember the last therapy session I went to the doctor, and I'm like, am I gonna have to live like this forever? Like, are things going to affect me like this forever? Is this how I'm going to navigate life? What am I gonna teach my child? If like I don't see life from like a clear lens, then how can I trust that what I'm teaching my child is the right thing? You know what I mean? And my psychiatrist was just like, through therapy you learn skills, and you learn how to deal with stuff, and you just kind of move from there. And Yeah, so and then I saw my therapist for maybe 2 or 3 sessions, and then here I am. This a year later. A year later, this is me. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm in a better no. Am I in a better space? I don't know. I don't know if I'm in a better space, but I know that I understand myself a little bit more. I'm not very hard on myself when certain things happen, or like I'm not hard on myself um regarding like my reactions and stuff. But oh, and then I got into another relationship, like my current relationship, and oh guys, that guy suffered. Okay, because he he met me just after I had like come to learn of what I was going through. And I remember being so afraid of him seeing that like wild side to me, because when I met him, I had just finished going through therapy, and now so I had just finished going through therapy, and now trying to learn exactly how to navigate around the things that I had been told, and now like not trying to do the same mistakes, not trying to be in another relationship, afraid of like somebody triggering me. Like now I was at a point where I'm scared of everyone around me, because I remember like there was this one time I went out with like my two best friends at the time. We went out and I got so triggered. I got so triggered. I blocked them, like, and then when I was doing that, I realized like damn, like during the time I was blocking and like acting up and like crying and having a meltdown, my psychiatrist words came back to me, and I'm like, you're doing it again, calm down. It's not that bad, it's not the end of the world. You just had a fight. That's what friends do. You'll be fine. I had to calm myself down. So essentially that's what I have to go through half of the time. And when I met my current boyfriend, I mean, he didn't know anything about me, and I'm now scared because I'm thinking, yo, if this man knows who I really am, or like how I really am, he's not gonna stick around, right? And for maybe a month or two, I was able to kind of like hide it. Well, actually, I don't think I hid it. I was really happy with him. So I was never really like, my triggers were very minimal at the time. So I was able to kind of like, we were happy. We are happy. But I'm just saying, I didn't have a lot of episodes with him at the beginning of the relationship. And also it's the beginning of the relationship and everybody's just trying to be like we just trying to be happy with each other, and nobody's trying to show their real self like that. Guys, something bit me. And then come maybe 3 months into the relationship, and obviously now we are comfortable with each other, the walls are let down, and now he sees he sees my meltdowns, he sees my episodes, and they are extreme, guys. Like, I have a lot of respect for my boyfriend, because I don't think anyone could have actually stayed with me after witnessing the things that he has witnessed with me. Because even at the time, I was still like self-harming. I was still like, I would have days where I'm not able to regulate myself, and I'm falling apart in front of him, and he has no idea what to do because he has never seen this side to me. So it was a lot. I think me and him actually just grew through a lot of things. And I have the utmost respect for that man. Bless. I love him so much. I love him so much. And like, also guys, to be honest, I was shit scared. Okay, I was extremely scared because I didn't want to be in another relationship where, guys, I forgot to set my concealer and now I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I don't want to be in another relationship because I felt like, what if the same thing happens? What if I get into another episode, a long-lasting episode that I'm not able to get myself out of, you know? But I also just had to trust that I was in a better space, which I was. Not really, but a better space than what I was before him, right? And he really helped me navigate around a lot of things because, one, guys, let me tell you what happened with my current boyfriend. When I met him, I stopped going to the places that I used to go to when I was losing it. When I was, yeah, I stopped going to those places. I stopped hanging out with like the social circle that I used to be around during that time. I stopped that. And I didn't stop because I told myself I was going to stop. I was in a new relationship that introduced me to a completely different social setting, social life, essentially life. My routine completely changed. I'll give you this much, guys. Like, being on the other side of a depressive episode, or like going through a depressive episode and then coming out on the other side and reflecting back, there's a lot of guilt that comes with that. I blamed myself for a lot of things. I was like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? And I'm talking things maybe that happened 6 months ago that now when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, girl, what were you thinking? Why would you do that? Why would you do this? Why would you? And that also can really set you, like, put you through like quite a roller coaster of emotions. So I really had to talk myself out of beating myself up and just being like, you know what, yes, we are here, but what do we do now? And it was really in that point that I started trying to figure out essentially how to pick up the pieces of my life. And yeah, that was actually last year, Karab. That was last year around this time. So it's been a full year of that, you know. And man, it hasn't been easy. I'm not gonna say it's been easy because, like I said, picking up the pieces was really hard. And yeah, I think it was around the same time that I kind of took a break from the socials. I was posting less. I was and which sucked because I really wanted to be in the digital space at the time. I mean, even right now, I really wanted to be in the digital space because obviously of my business and of like just the things that I was learning, the skills that I was learning were mostly like digital related. So I wanted to be in the social space, but I felt like it was also harming me a lot because people had a lot of opinions about me and about like my life, and I would hear stories on stories on stories, like, which is also why I didn't even want to do this video, because, and this is a year later, but because like people just had so many opinions about me that also kind of contributed to what I was going through and to the reason why I don't want to like go back to YouTube or do anything, even though that's what I wanted to do. That's what I enjoyed, you know. That's what could have helped me navigate through what I was going through, because I know for a fact I'm a big I talk, okay? I talk. I love to talk. And more than loving to talk, I love being vulnerable. Like, I thrive off my vulnerability. Everyone that has been in my space knows that about me. So the fact that I couldn't be vulnerable because it was bullets to be used against me, or not really against me, but like it would just open up the space for people to just kind of have like their 2 cents about me, and I couldn't do that anymore. So yeah, so I went offline until now. If you've seen me now, I'm kind of back in the scene. I am, I'm shooting again. I'm back on YouTube again. This was meant to be a 2023 reflection, but it ended up being a 2022 reflection because all the things that I just mentioned now happened last year. But I guess they also kind of tie into why I was not on YouTube anymore, or why you guys have not been seeing much of me. But I guess to just close it off, I am back. Okay, I'm back on YouTube. I know what I want to do, and I know what I'm ready to do, and I think that's what's helping me with like being back here. So you are going to see a little bit more of me, some of my beauty content, some of my business content, a lot of conversations. Okay, a lot of conversations on, like I say, I think I mentioned it before, on grief, on career. I need to tell you guys a really hectic story about what happened when I was in Joburg. I thought I was gonna be able to like cover that in this video, but yeah, I think I've said enough. So we'll discuss that in my next video, actually next week. We'll talk about that next week. But yeah, so that's just an example of like the conversations we're going to be having, because I'm doing a lot of internal work, I'm doing a lot of inner work, I'm trying to heal my inner child, so yeah. But we'll have those conversations. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video here, and then the rest of it honestly is just going to be like a fast forward while I finish my makeup. Actually, my space is going to give me problems, so I'm going to cut off the video here, and then I'll cut back, show you guys the final look. So this is going to be my outro. I'll see you guys in my next video. Please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment. Please leave a nice comment down below, and do click on the notification bell so that you get a notification every time your girl is posting. I'm gonna try and be consistent.